Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce with a Views Express podcast today. I wasn't going to do a live show, and I mentioned that on Facebook. No live show, but I have other things that I'm doing, of course, you know. Again, I'm scaling back the network. But I'm still going to bring you the truth. I'm still going to bring you the facts. Still going to bring you all of that. It's all there. It's all available to you on freeamericaradio.us or Spreaker.com, Free America Radio Network. Lots of things going on today. Lots of things I want to stress to you. I don't know where to begin. I honestly do not know where to begin. But I do know that there is a lot that let's just say if we were to look at the structure, the infrastructure of what is happening, if we were looking at the very nature of who we are, we would see that the phrase, people are generally good, really doesn't apply to some people. Now, I can understand. I mean, I'm certainly very much aware of the fact that there are good people out there. So, excluding them, there are some really trashy, nasty, evil, very accusatory people, very adversarial, very, you don't do it our way, we're going to kill you. Can you say ISIS and all of that? Well, it just so happens that as we go through and we see these things happening in front of us, the question that stands, I think, above everything else is why, and none of us have the answers. We see these evil things playing out before us. We see these nasty things playing out before us. We don't know how to explain them to the kids. And did you know, and I was just watching, a little while ago, I was watching Glenn Beck. And he literally said that on September 11th, which is coming up on Thursday, in 2001, did you know that children that were born after that are now becoming teenagers? And they have no clue what happened. They didn't see the graphic nature of these things. Okay? And for me, in my opinion, I believe that you should tell your children there are some really bad people out there. And they're coming to hurt you and I. Not to scare them, but to explain also that they're not going to come and get you because there's people here, as well as the parents, that will protect them. Now, I say that in a general way because of the fact that many, many years ago, in the, in World War II and Korea and Vietnam and all that, parents were saying the same thing. And basically, are the parents lying? No, I don't believe so. Because I believe that we, the people, are a very resilient group of people. We can get knocked down, but we get back up. And once we're back up, you better look out. And this is what's happening in our world today. Confusion, distraction, lies, manipulation, all of that. And it's just amazing how people, well, they don't seem to see it, I don't think, because I don't see the hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets like they have in other countries protesting their corrupt government. I don't see it here. You know why? Because America doesn't have the stomach for it. We don't have the testicular fortitude to get out in the streets where we want to sit back fat and happy and get everything from the government that we want and from the rich people that we seem to think have to pay their fair share for us to sit on our ass. And I don't see hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets. I don't. And as far as I'm concerned, nobody has the guts or the courage to do that. I'm going to say it right now, right in your face. You don't have the balls, America. You don't have the balls to stand up for what is right, for what is true, for what is patriotic, and for your children and your children's children. You don't have it. You know why? Because in the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we were never taught how to protect ourselves. And it goes back farther than that. So we are what we are. And as you know, I've passed up my break. That's okay. I'll come up on the 20-minute mark. Facts are the facts, folks. Facts are facts. It's right there. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me, well, I got my facts and you have yours. No, you've got your misinformed, misdirected, state-run media that is just telling you the lies throughout their propaganda, and you have one other thing on top of that, and that is your own preconceived ideas that you delude yourself with inside your little cookie-cutter world. In other words, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see it, it's not affecting me. That is the worst thing that you could do. That's the worst thing that you could do. I think it's time we step up to the plate and get some balls. Take the initiative. I don't condone violence in any way, shape, or form. I do support defense because we have to defend ourselves. I do support protesting. I do support people getting out in the streets and doing what they have to do to get the word out, number one. And number two, to make and demand the actions of our supposed leaders to be true and patriotic. And if they can't do it, I don't care if it's your mayor in your city or your city council or your board of supervisors, county board of supervisors, or even your governor. If they cannot do it, we need to demand their resignation right now. We'll take over and we'll make the government, the state, the counties and the cities much better to live. Because I'll tell you right now, the leadership in Washington, D.C. does not have the balls to go over to these other countries and turn them into glass, these terrorist countries. We don't have the ball. Well, that'll upset the whole world. That will cause people to look at us as being a barbaric nation. And 70 years ago, almost 70 years ago, we dropped 2 bombs on a country that invaded the United States of America at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. We dropped 2 atomic bombs and killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And Japan said, oops, we messed with the wrong people. Now they're our allies. But I wonder about the psychology behind that as well. Okay. We have gathered together many nations who have one goal in mind, and that is to survive under peace, freedom, security, and liberty in their country, modeled after what we have done in the last 230 some odd years, or at least the founding of this country in 1776. But we don't have that. And right now we cannot afford to waste time dealing with criminals, both in our own government and the criminal organizations that our government has set up around the world in the form of Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Al-Nusra, or any other terrorist group. Yes, I said it. Our government set them up. Our government, through several ways and means that they had many years ago, set up Adolf Hitler, set up Khrushchev. Our government set up Saddam Hussein in the 1970s, and he ruled for almost 40 years. And then, well, he didn't want to play the game anymore, so we had to go in and take care of him. We took him out. ISIS is the same way. We sent the weapons over there for them. But somebody got a clue and went, oh, wait a minute, wait. We're arming the enemy. And that's why several people, Ambassador Stevens and others, and many others, have been killed by our own government because they spilled the beans. Okay? They caught wind of what was going on, and they were going to spill the beans, and our government went, no, you're not. But now with social media, now with independent and alternative media, now with the internet, now with YouTube and live stream and Ustream and all of that, you and I can get out there and go, hey, look, we're in the field. We know what's going on. We got behind the curtain. We're the camel's nose under the tent. We see it. And what do you know? The enemy has changed their tactics. And now instead of saying, no, that's just a conspiracy theory, now our own government is going, when we find out that they've funded ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra and all of that, now our government's going, yeah, what are you going to do about it? That's the height of arrogance and conceit, people. Our government thinks they can't do any wrong. Our president thinks that he can go beyond congressional approval and go behind Congress and do whatever he wants. Well, this isn't going to happen, folks. 3 things we need out of Washington, D.C. Number 1, we need corporate money and all of that out of politics anywhere, everywhere in the United States. Take out the corporate money. Second of all, what we need in this country is we need to go into, as individuals or as a group, go into Washington, D.C. and walk right into freaking Congress, into the White House, and say, we the people demand your resignation now. You have committed treason. You have committed crimes against the people and against humanity of this nation and against the Constitution and Bill of Rights. We demand that you resign right now. That's what we need to do, but nobody has the balls to do that. And the third thing we need to do, we need to arrest each and every single politician, I don't care if they're in Congress or not, who have committed treason against the United States and against the people of the United States, and we need to put them in jail, and that's just the way it is, period. Now, am I calling for a coup? No. I'm calling for accountability. That you and I, as citizens of the United States of America, and the registered voters, as if that matters, have to go and hold these politicians accountable. And if that begins in your city, councils or county board of supervisors or state legislatures, then that's where it begins. And I'll tell you why I say that. Harry Reid is pushing to limit, if not abolish, our First Amendment right, our freedom of speech. He's trying to do things that really he cannot do, and he would be totally and absolutely insane in doing these things. Okay? It would just be freaking sane for him to do these things. Okay? I know for a fact that from what I've seen, from what I know, from the hours and days and all of that, I can tell you that what I see is a total disregard. Let me just go this way. People are apathetic. They don't care. They're apathetic. No, well, I'm just going to go out and play softball. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take my kid, whatever. You people are freaking morons. You're apathetic. You have no common sense. And I'm not talking to the audience that listens to me. I'm talking to the people that listen to them that, try to detract everything that I say and that anybody like myself says. And I'm talking to the people that specifically are saying, well, that's just a conspiracy theory. There's nothing going on. Really? When I get back from the break, I'll get into this article. You can find it on Free America Radio, or actually you can find it on Free America Radio on Facebook. And as soon as I share it, I'll tell you what it is. From the Daily Caller, dailycaller.com, Harry Reid trying to use constitutional amendment to silence NRA, its members, and free speech. When I get back from the break, I'll read that article to you and give you my thoughts on it. But I don't know too many people that have the balls to stand up in Carson City here in Nevada and rally around that Capitol building and tell those people, you're going to listen to us and not to the corporations, period. You got any questions, concerns, comments, and even if you disagree with me, email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can go to freeamericaradio.us and donate if you like. I want to take Free America Radio Network to the next level, and that would be where you come in. You can help do that too. You can be a part of that growth, knowing that the truth and the facts will be shared. Yes. I know of which I speak. Let's put it that way. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Hey, folks, this is the Views Expressed podcast. It's not live today. It's podcast time. Yes, I was trying to get some time set aside to do a live broadcast, but didn't quite make it. So anyway, what do we do? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook, and let me read to you this article. Okay, let's turn this down here. Let's go read this article. Harry Reid trying to use constitutional amendment to silence NRA and its members and free speech. January. Now, this article went up, as a matter of fact, let me look here. Yes, went up yesterday, the 7th of September, 2014. In January 2010, the Supreme Court handed down a key decision in the case of Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission. The decision removed unconstitutional restrictions on the ability to speak freely at election time of grassroots groups like NRA and others. But now, some are trying to reverse the decision, and while they recognize that they must amend the Constitution to do so, their amendment would gut the First Amendment rights of organized political groups as we know them. The late Paul Wellstone had said during the original debate over the legislation at issue in Citizens United that it was his intention to silence groups like the NRA. Let me read that again, because this is very, very crucial, because where did it start, folks? The late Senator Paul Wellstone had said during the original debate over the legislation at issue in Citizens United that it was his intention to silence groups like the NRA. While Wellstone singled out the NRA, this law delivered a clear message to all American citizens. Quote, keep your mouths shut and stay out of our politics, unquote. The court declared unconstitutional the parts of the law that had been enacted for the explicit purpose of silencing the NRA and its members. Of course, the gun banners in the White House and Congress opposed the decision because it thwarted their plans. Now, the U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat in Nevada, is aggressively trying to reverse the Citizens United decision by pushing, quote, Senate Joint Resolution 19, unquote. A proposed, quote, amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America leading to contributions and expenditures intended to affect elections, unquote. As the title of the proposed constitutional amendment suggests, SJR 19 is intended to allow anti-gunners in Congress to silence the critics and to control the gun debate. In other words, the opposition to any type of gun control law and the gun grabbers will be shut down by this amendment. And then they can say whatever they want, and they're going to push their agenda, and they're going to push their propaganda, and they're going to push the Second Amendment right out of history. Okay? I don't care what the politicians tell you, and you can go question them all you want. You go to your local politician, your local city council, your local government, your state government, and you ask them about SJR 19. And go look it up before you go to them and ask them about it and see what it is. As the title of the proposed constitutional amendments suggest, SJR 19 is intended to allow, this is what it's intended to allow, anti-gunners in Congress to silence their critics and to control the gun, quote-unquote, debate. SJ 19 would authorize burdensome federal and state regulation or outright prohibition of spending by corporations and other legal entities like NRA to do what many were created to do, protect the rights of their members at the ballot box. Prominent constitutional scholar Floyd Abrams said SJR 19, quote, "It is intended to limit speech about elections, and it would do just that," unquote. The U.S. Senate could vote on the measure as early as next week. NRA strongly opposes SJR 19 and will score legislator votes on the proposed amendment. Please take action now to stop the proposed constitutional amendment that would severely restrict free speech during elections. Please immediately contact. Now, I don't know why they say this. Please immediately contact your senators and tell them to oppose Senate Joint Resolution 19. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? I'm going to make this perfectly clear right now, okay? Harry Reid has got to go, period. He's got to go. Somebody has got to grab him by the scruff of the neck and throw him out the front door of Congress. He has to go. Okay? Now, I know that there are conservatives in Congress, and I know that there are liberals in Congress. But see, let me look at that word, liberal, for a minute. What the meaning is of it now is not what it was 200 years ago. Okay? Conservative, what it means today was not what it meant years ago, even if they use the word. We have to grab all of these politicians that want gun control, which is literally gun confiscation, to put it to you bluntly. And we need to throw their asses out. I don't care if it's your governor. I don't care if it's your state senator. I don't care if it's your city council member. I don't care if it's your mayor. We need to grab these people by the scruff of the neck and throw them to the streets. They don't need to be there if all they're going to do is ignore the Constitution, ignore the Bill of Rights, and ignore the people. Now, where do we go from there if we throw these bastards out? Where do we go from there? Well, if that's not enough, well, we go from there. Let me make my point. We go from there by creating, and I know this might be totally wrong, but we create a group of people, hundreds if need be, to look at each and every single politician and investigate them from one end of the spectrum to the other. And if they are found to have taken bribes from oil companies, food companies, chemical companies to get that office in Washington, D.C., then we need to go in there and say, you got two choices. Either you sign this resignation form right now, or we will have the United States Marshal come in and arrest your ass. Because that's just the way it is. The MinorityReportBlog.com video. There's a video there. I'll put this at the top of the Free America Radio Facebook page. And this is very, very important because this has been going on for quite some time. Okay? The MinorityReportBlog.com video. White House pressuring journalists not to report the news. It's worse than you thought. Van Susteren says she was pressured by the White House. So the White House people do doubt at the excuse me, let me read that again. So White House people, no doubt at the behest of Barack Obama himself, called many journalists and reporters, pressuring them to not cover or dig into the Benghazi scandal. One usually thinks that happens to liberal and progressive usual suspects with whom the White House has influence. According to Greta Van Susteren, someone at the White House was calling her, trying to get not only her to stop reporting on Benghazi, but trying to convince her to influence Fox News entirely not to cover Benghazi. The more Obama and the White House protests, the more you know they royally screwed up and are trying to hide it, least transparent administration in history. There's a video there, folks. Check it out. The bottom line is, folks, journalism is not what it used to be. And it has been co-opted by the propaganda machine called the state-run media. Okay? I find it incredibly odd, and this is only me, but I find it incredibly odd that we have a group of people who will stop at nothing to control you. The opposite is also true, that we have a group of people that will just sit back and take it. Now, I don't know about you, but I won't sit back and let it happen. Now, I've thought about this from day one. We all have to be involved. Like Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com says, stand up, speak out, get involved. I totally agree with that. I'm speaking out now. What people don't understand from my aspect of things, what people don't understand is the very thing that you will allow. In other words, if you want to be on the dole and have all that or whatever, the very thing that you will allow will cause your demise. Food stamps are being cut, SNAP EBT is being cut, healthcare is being cut in some places. And it's out there and it's on record. Okay? It's on record. I know from what I've seen that people literally don't care. Okay? Literally do not care. Now, you might email me and say, well, I care. I know what's going on. You make it sound like people are stupid. They just don't know what's going on. Well, then how come I don't see you and hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets protesting? Yeah, I know you could say that same thing about me, right? Are we too afraid? Are we scared? Are we too worried that it's going to cause us some inconvenience, that maybe, we might get arrested, might get thrown in jail, oh my God, That's the least of your worries when you know that ISIS is in Mexico crossing into the United States. Now either lock and load and keep them from coming over, or sit back in your big giant easy chair or your comfy couch and watch your stupid ESPN shows. There's only one way to look at this, folks, and that's realistically. There's only one way to implement what we have in mind, and that's, to borrow a phrase, just do it. Now, Dana Lash over at theblaze.com this morning said one thing in her discussion with Glenn Beck, and that was America doesn't have the guts, doesn't have the stomach to be in another war. And that she also referred to past battles that we've had when we've been in war. We've been diplomatic. We've tried to skate by. She didn't say this, but I'm saying this because the gist of what she said is this. We need to go over there in these terrorist countries where terrorists are and turn them into glass. That's what she said, and I totally agree. Well, that's just, you're saying the same thing that ISIS is saying. They want to wipe out America, blah, blah, blah. Who's going to move first? We already know that ISIS and their cells in the United States, ISIS, they were Al-Qaeda. I don't know why they changed their name. Might as well just say it like it is. It's government operatives, funded by the Saudi Arabians, funded by other countries to be here to tear down the United States of America. Might as well just say it like it is. We now have enemies on our soil. We now have foreign enemies on our soil, as well as domestic enemies in Washington, D.C. You might as well just come right out and say it. It just doesn't make any sense to me that people are going to sit back and say, oh, well, nothing's happening. It's okay. It's not affecting me. Have you went to the gas station and got gas lately? Have you gone to the store and got food lately? Well, what does that have to do with ISIS? Has everything to do with ISIS. Has everything to do with it. But here's something else. Let me direct your attention to this. Okay? I'm going to read this to you. It's a meme that is on Free America Radio on Facebook. Actually, it's not. It's on my personal page, but let me go share that right now. And it says this. It's a meme. And I commented on it, and I'll tell you my comment after I read you this meme. 20,000 illegal aliens have been issued Nevada driver's license in the past 6 months. Like if you agree this is wrong. I said, this is so wrong. Why are we allowing this when there is almost 1/3 of the population of the U.S. out of work? Close the damn borders. And I mean that. Close the damn borders. I don't know why people can't really grasp that concept of closing the border. I really don't. Anyway, folks, if you want to leave me a comment, you can go to Free America Radio on Facebook, or if you want to email me, you can. No question is off limits. Ask me anything you like. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Looking forward to your emails, and I shall return right after this.
Take the last train to Boston. See them both run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on the midnight.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Local radio with a worldwide connection. The Free America Radio Network. Go to www.freeamericaradio.us. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Welcome back to the Views Expressed podcast. Yes, it's not live, it's a podcast. Yes. I taking a little break from doing the live shows, not because of anything other than sometimes I'm not ready. Sometimes I get there and everything's just, and then, you know, stuff happens and I got stuff to do and I have a life outside of this show and all this, and I'm just not ready, okay? And in the last several weeks that's been the case. But don't get me wrong, when I have the time, when I only have, you know, a few minutes to spare, I will put together a podcast. I will, you know, do things like this or, you know, give you a live show once a week or something. But let me give you a program note. I will be here tomorrow live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be live because, and I'll tell you why, I'm going to lead into this Thursday, which is September 11th, the 13th anniversary of what the government did to us. Yes, I say that. And I watch Glenn Beck and I watch other people and I'm looking at and listening just intently to what they say about this, how 20 hijackers hijacked 2 planes. That's a bunch of crap because the witnesses on the ground said it was a gray plane. A dozen more witnesses just constant coming out later on saying it wasn't a passenger jet, it was a gray military style plane. So... And architects and engineers are not wrong. The buildings came down in free fall like they were being demolished. Building 7 the same way. I don't want to hear it from the detractors. I don't want to hear it from people who think they have the knowledge of this. If you were not on the ground in the investigation looking into this, you know nothing. So I don't want to hear anything from you. Okay? If you can, piece everything together and say, well, this is how it is, well, match it up to the facts from A&E for Truth A&E911truth.org. I believe that's go look up Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Okay, they're right, you're wrong. You cannot argue with over 1,200 architects and engineers, period, end of sentence. So I don't want to hear anything about it. If you have compelling information that you think I need to look at, please send it. I'm okay with that. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. And believe me, I've seen every YouTube video. I've seen every documentary. I've listened to every interview. I've watched what the 3 firemen down at the ground on the Twin Towers said in that video. I've watched it. I've heard it. I've read it. I've pieced it together. And guess what? The official story from the 9/11 Commission is wrong, considering that 6 of the 10 on that commission retracted everything and said, we didn't get enough information, or they're wrong, or they're hiding something. So I don't want to hear it. You want to give me something compelling? Then you do that. If not, other than that, Now, in the last few minutes of this show, I want to go to Free America Radio on Facebook. I want to read you this as soon as I find it here. Oh, yeah. Here you go. TheLibertyBeacon.com. Free America Radio on Facebook. You can find this by scrolling down. I believe it's there. No, let me go put it on there then. It wasn't on there. I took a look and it wasn't there. So, let me go put that on there for you. It was on my own personal Facebook page. So, it's now on Free America Radio Facebook page. From thelibertybeacon.com. Psychiatric drugs send 90,000 to the emergency rooms each year. This was posted by the TLB staff, the Liberty Beacon staff. This was posted the 6th of September 2014, filed under Health and Tyranny. Mental health watchdog cites need for consumers to search psychiatric drug database for documented risks. Let me say that again. Mental health watchdogs cite need for consumers to search psychiatric drug database for documented risks. This article was written by Kelly O'Meara. Thank you, Kelly. A recent JMA psychiatric study revealed that between 2009 and 2011, there were an estimated 267,000 emergency room visits because of adverse drug events from psychiatric drugs, such as overdose, excessive sleepiness, and head injuries. Over 19% of these emergency room visits resulted in patient hospitalization. The lead author of the JAMA study suggested a need for caution, increased surveillance, and reduced use of psychiatric drugs, and even encouraged alternative treatments. It's a pretty lengthy article, folks, but I'll read this next paragraph, and this is up on Free America Radio on Facebook. The JAMA report, first released in July, breaks down the adverse drug events by class of drug, reporting that nearly 78,000 of the emergency room visits were due just to sedatives and anxiolytics or something like that, antidepressants and antipsychotics. Other drugs causing such reactions included lithium salts and stimulants. This data should be of no surprise given the ever-increasing use of psychiatric drugs. According to the IMS Health's Total Patient Tracker database, psychiatric drug use now includes even the youngest of the nation's population. In fact, in 2013, more than 1 million American children between the ages of 0 and 5 were prescribed psychiatric drugs. For all ages, more than 10 million Americans took ADHD drugs, 41 million took antidepressants, more than 6.5 million took antipsychotics, and 36 million took anti-anxiety drugs. Okay? That's up on Free America Radio on Facebook. The question, folks, is this. Why? Why? Why are we drugging up our society from birth to death? Why? Now, I know that some of you are probably going to say, well, you know, some people need them. No, they don't. Because for every one thing that pill is supposed to help you with, either suppress or cure, there are somewhere in the vicinity of anywhere between 12 to 20 side effects. Okay? And I see it all the time. I see it in the advertisement on Hulu, on Netflix. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere. By the way, the DSM-4 and the DSM-5 that the APA, the American Psychiatric Association, uses, former members of the APA have come out and said those books are nothing but fraudulent. Everything in there is a fraud, a lie, and doesn't exist. The only reason, and these former members of the APA have come out and said this as well, the only reason why they start describing and titling and making this stuff up is for grant money for research that they can put in their pockets and not do any of the research. Period. End of sentence. Now, you can go look that up. Now, if, for some reason, if I am wrong, I would like you to tell me. Please. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. I am personally in contact with someone who has been diagnosed with a mental illness and has never seen any type of military action in their life, and they were classified with having PTSD. Now, they were also diagnosed with depression. They were also diagnosed with other quote-unquote illnesses, and I use that word strongly, that relate to difficulties dealing with other people. Okay? It is not a mental illness, because what the APA did is they classified it an illness and not a disorder, because an illness implies that you can take a drug to cure it, when the drug that you take to cure it has 10, 15, 20 different side effects to it. So when you call it a disorder, that means that implies that you can get alternative methods of getting over that disorder, which the APA and the psychiatric industry doesn't want you to even venture into, because guess what? Takes money out of their pocket. I don't know how much a psychiatrist or a psychologist charges per hour, but there you go. The greatest, I shouldn't say greatest, I should say the best film that I saw about mental disorders and the psychiatric industry was and is called Psychiatry, Industry of Death, put out by the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. Okay? I really, really, really I really want you to understand one valuable thing. And And that is, excuse me, I got something going on there, and typing at the same time. I want you to understand one valuable thing in all of this. And that is, people see things differently than I do. I'm okay with that. But if you don't have the information to back up what I say, and I say that for a reason, because I can take my information, put it against yours, and tell you where you're wrong if you are wrong. So if you take that information and show it to me, that you have, that I give you, whatever, however you manage to get that information, and you show it to me and tell me this is why you disagree with me, I will sit down with you every day for as long as you need to have a discussion with you and a debate about it. But if you're going to point fingers and tell me, well, you're one of those conspiracy theories, anti-vaxxers, you don't like the rah, 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 rah. If that's all you're going to do, then you can take a long walk off a short pier. Because I don't debate with people unless I know they're smart enough to be able to go out and get the information I have. Or, here's the information I have, go check it out yourself. And then come back to me and we'll talk. Now, somebody once told me well, you're implying people are stupid. No, I'm not. I'm not implying anything. I'm telling you straight up, people are stupid. There's no implication there, because they don't want to learn. It took me a long, long time to finally relinquish my selfish thought of everybody else is wrong and no one's going to correct me. Well, guess what? I found out I was wrong. I call it having the proverbial rug pulled out from underneath of me, and I did a face plant in the concrete. Okay, how's that metaphor for you? So I had to go back and look at everything that I had, investigated and researched and find what I overlooked. And that took many years, and I went in a plethora of directions and found out a lot more than I ever would have if I didn't have that situation happen to me. It is what it is. We look at things from a very unique perspective. That's the thing. No one is completely wrong and no one is completely right. We share the information we have, or specifically, I share the information I have in hopes that you go out and look it up and examine it for yourself and draw your own conclusion on it. I'm giving you the information. I'm giving you my opinion on it, my take on the situation, who's behind the curtain pulling the handles and pushing the buttons. But you, I hope I encourage you to do so. Go out and check it out yourself. Anyway, the podcasts are always 1 hour, so I'm glad you stuck around for this hour to listen to me ramble on. But I will be here tomorrow live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. So please tune in leading up to Thursday, September 11th. I've got a lot to share with you. I'm going to do as much as I can in the next several days to piece together exactly what happened on that day, because I had personal experiences which I cannot shake even to this day, and I'm going to share that with you as well. So please join me tomorrow, and I will talk to you more about what's happening in the news as well as leading up to 9/11. I will tell you, give you some more stuff off of Free America Radio Facebook page. If you have any questions, anything, and no question is off limits, ask me anything you like. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Free America Radio at USA.com. Always check out the website and help out if you can, donate if you can. And that's at freeamericaradio.us. Do what you can, because Free America Radio Network is going to the next level, and you can be a part of that. So whatever you can do, thank you. Go to the store, buy some merchandise, get your emergency food supply today at freeamericaradio.us. At the top of the page, click on that link, and there you go. Right now I'm going to take off. I'm going to go away. But I will be here live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com and freeamericaradio.us.